Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
What's going on, everyone? You know, the Mets just pulled off something that's flying completely under the radar, and honestly, this could end up being one of those moves we look back on in a year or two and realize was absolutely brilliant. While everyone's focused on the big names and the blockbuster deals, David Stearns is out here quietly building something special. And I've got to tell you, after digging into this, I'm genuinely excited about where this team is headed. So the Mets just signed Tyler Birch to a 2-year minor league deal. And before you roll your eyes and say another minor leaguer who cares, just hear me out because this actually matters more than you think. Birch is a right-handed pitcher who's coming off elbow surgery, but he's expected to be ready to pitch in 2026. And here's why this is interesting. This guy has pitched in 114 games across 5 seasons in the minors, and he's posted a 3.71 ERA. That's not just respectable. That's actually really good for someone working their way through the system. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why should I care about a minor league signing when the Mets need major league help right now? And you're not wrong to think that way, but here's the thing. Stearns has always had a strong eye for pitching talent, and the fact that they gave Birch a 2-year deal instead of the standard 1-year minor league contract tells you everything you need to know about how much they believe in this kid. They see something special here, and when you look at his numbers, you start to understand why. He's got more strikeouts than innings pitched throughout his career, which is absolutely insane. That's the kind of strikeout rate that gets front offices excited because it means he's legitimately missing bats at a high level. Birch was actually the 39th ranked prospect in the Orioles organization not too long ago, and he was acquired by Baltimore in the 2021 trade deadline. The scouting report on him is pretty encouraging too. His fastball sits between 93 and 95 miles per hour with that rising action that organizations love. But here's what makes him really interesting. He's got this plus slider in the low to mid 80s with impressive 2-plane break that's just nasty. When he's on, he pounds the zone with that fastball to get ahead in counts, and then he breaks out that slider to put guys away. His ceiling right now is projected as a solid middle reliever, and honestly, with the way bullpens are used in modern baseball, having reliable arms coming out of the pen is absolutely crucial. The one concern with Birch is that he does have a tendency to elevate his fastball, which has led to some home run issues in the past, but that's something that can be coached and improved with the right development program. And let's be real, the Mets have shown they know how to develop pitching. We've seen guys come through their system and take massive steps forward. So while Birch might not be ready until 2026 or potentially even 2027, the upside is definitely there. And for a minor league deal with no risk attached, this is exactly the type of move smart organizations make. But let's talk about what everyone really wants to know, and that's the starting pitching situation, because the Mets are actively engaged with multiple teams right now trying to upgrade that rotation. They've been in contact with the Padres about several arms, including Mason Miller and Nick Pivetta, but there's another name that keeps coming up that I think is absolutely perfect for what the Mets need, and that's Kris Bubic from the Kansas City Royals. Kansas City is reportedly open to trading Bubic, who's going into his last year of club control. And here's why this makes so much sense for New York. Bubic is set to make just $4.5 million in 2026, which is incredibly affordable, and the Royals are worried they're going to lose him in free agency after this season anyway. So from their perspective, they might as well get something for him now rather than watching him walk for nothing. And from the Mets' perspective, you're getting a legitimately good pitcher without having to give up your top prospects like you would for a Corbin Burns or a Freddie Peralta. Let me tell you about what Bubic did last season because these numbers are seriously impressive. He threw a 2.55 ERA across 20 starts with a 1.178 whip and 116 strikeouts in 116 innings. That strikeout to innings pitched ratio is exactly what you want to see, and he's a lefty, which gives you a different look in that rotation. When you dive into his advanced metrics on Baseball Savant, everything grades out really well. his pitching run value, his breaking ball run value, all of it looks great. He's primarily a breaking ball pitcher, which is actually perfect because the Mets could use someone with that profile, especially with all the uncertainty surrounding Kodai Senga. Now, Bubik's fastball velocity isn't going to blow anyone away. It sits around 92 miles per hour, which is definitely below average for a starting pitcher in today's game. But here's the thing. He doesn't need an elite fastball because he moves the ball around so well and gets guys to chase out of the zone. His chase rate is excellent. His average exit velocity allowed is very good. And he's really skilled at preventing hard contact. He's not giving up a lot of barrels. And when hitters do make contact, it's usually weak contact. That's the kind of pitcher who can succeed even without premium velocity because he's smart, he's got great secondary stuff, and he knows how to pitch. If you look at the Mets rotation right now, you've got Sean Manaea, David Peterson, Clay Holmes, potentially Kodai Senga if he's healthy, and they just signed Frankie Montes. That's a rotation that has some solid pieces, but it's not exactly striking fear into opponents. If the Mets can add someone like Bubik, you could slot him in as your number 2 starter right behind Montes. Then you've got Senga when he's healthy, Holmes as your 4, and Peterson as your 5. That's a rotation that actually looks pretty competitive and gives you a real shot at making noise in the postseason. The beauty of going after Bubik instead of one of the bigger names is that the price tag is going to be significantly lower. You're not mortgaging your entire farm system to get him. You can probably keep your top prospects and still add a quality arm who can eat innings and give you a chance to win every 5th day. And if things go well and Bubik pitches like he did last season, maybe you can even work out an extension to keep him beyond this year so he's not just a 1-year rental. Here's what I think the Mets are doing, and honestly, it's pretty smart. They're working multiple angles at once. They're adding depth pieces like Tyler Birch, who might develop into something useful down the line. They're exploring trades for impact pitchers like Chris Bubik, who can help them right now without destroying their prospect capital. And they're staying flexible, so if a bigger opportunity presents itself, they have the resources to pounce on it. That's how you build a sustainable winner. Not by making 1 or 2 splashy moves and hoping for the best, but by consistently adding talent at every level and giving yourself multiple paths to success. The other thing I love about what Stearns is doing is he's not panicking. Yeah, the rotation needs help, and the fans want to see big names added, but he's not going to overpay just to make a splash. He's being methodical. He's evaluating all his options, and he's making moves that actually make sense for both the short term and the long term. That's the kind of front office approach that wins championships. So while Tyler Birch might not get anyone excited right now, and Chris Bubik might not be the sexiest name available, both of these moves represent the kind of smart team building that separates contenders from pretenders. The Mets are absolutely putting themselves in position to compete, and if they can stay healthy and get a few breaks, this team is going to be really dangerous. What do you think, though? Are you on board with these moves, or do you want to see the Mets go bigger? Let me know your thoughts, and make sure you're subscribed because we're covering every single Mets move as it happens. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.